So artsy.
What's up, you guys? It's Susie from HeyGrillHey.com, and today we are throwing down a beautiful slab of smoked pork belly. Tender, sumptuous, melt in your mouth. You guys are gonna love this one, and it's done in about 8.5 hours, so it's a perfect same day cook. Let's do it. I absolutely love this recipe because it's all of the best things about barbecue, but it's only 4 ingredients. It's super simple, only a couple steps to get done, and it tastes phenomenal. Here's what you'll need. You want a 4 to 5 pound slab of uncured pork belly. This can be a little bit difficult to find, but most butchers can get you uncured pork belly. I actually find mine at Costco most often. And for this particular application, you do want it to be skin off. We're not gonna like cook or crackle the skin. This is all like melt in your mouth pork belly. So skin removed is ideal for this particular application. And again, this isn't bacon, it's not cured, just raw, straight, beautiful, fatty pork belly. I love it. You'll also need a few tablespoons of your favorite barbecue seasoning. I'm using my sweet rub. It has all of the flavors of that classic barbecue goodness that I love, and a little bit of brown sugar, so we'll get a nice crust on the outside. You're also gonna need some apple juice and some barbecue sauce. Those will come in a little bit later, but seriously, 4 ingredients. Super simple. Now we gotta prep our pork belly. I'm sure you guys have seen or heard recipes for pork belly burnt ends. Those are amazing. That's not what this is. We're smoking the whole slab of pork belly. At the end, I'll show you ways to cube it and kind of turn those into burnt ends if that's what you'd like. But for this application, I leave the slab whole because I like the option of being able to slice it for sandwiches, or it's amazing sliced and put into ramen, or like there's just a lot you can do with it if you start with it whole. So that's my process. Grab yourself a knife, and we're gonna score the top of this pork belly into a diamond pattern about 1 inch apart. We're not going all the way through the pork belly, but we do wanna kind of get through this first layer of fat. It's gonna help with the rendering during the cooking process. I think a smarter person would probably just turn the cutting board. I'm like moving my whole body around the table sometimes. So these beautiful diamonds are gonna serve multiple purposes. When we season, it's gonna allow us to get our seasoning a little bit deeper, but these channels are going to help render a lot of this super thick fat on top out. So we don't have to eat all of it later. I mean, we wanna eat a lot of it, but we don't have to eat all of it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only scoring the top fatty side of this pork belly, not both sides. After that, just take your seasoning, get after it, use your fingers to separate those little channels so you can get the seasoning down into the pork belly. You're gonna need a few tablespoons here, but you can be pretty liberal.
So artsy.
Okay, I feel happy with this. Our pork belly is scored, it's seasoned. Now it's time to get it onto the smoker. I have my pellet smoker running at 225 degrees. Any wood is really quite delicious with pork belly, but I do love fruit wood. Something like an apple or a cherry would be very, very delicious with this pork belly. And what else?
We got plum in there right now.
We do have plum in there right now. So like I said, fruity woods are awesome for pork belly. This is gonna go onto the smoker, 225, and this is going to roll for about 5-ish hours. It's a rough estimate. Use the thermometer. We're looking for an internal temperature of about 165 degrees here, and I am going to be coming out and spritzing this pork belly every hour or so with apple juice. Our pork belly has been smoking for about 5 hours. We've been spritzing with the apple juice. It smells fantastic. Now it's time to wrap it up for a braising phase that will really help to render out the rest of the fat and break down those connective tissues in the belly so that this piece of pork belly just melts in my mouth when we're all done. So I'm just gonna tear off a large piece of heavy duty foil. It gives me a little bit of extra width and a little bit more durability. It's a hard word. A little bit more durability so that we don't poke any holes in it and none of the liquids leak out the side. I'm gonna add about a half a cup of apple juice to this foil wrap. That's gonna add a little bit of moisture, some sweetness. It's also gonna reinforce the flavors that we used in the apple juice from the spritzing. I'm just gonna fold up the sides, make a little boat. You only need about a half a cup, and since I have some left from my spray bottle, I'm just gonna use that. And you want to wrap this as tight as you can, pressing that foil against the edges of the pork belly. You really don't want any big air pockets in there. You want the foil right up against the meat. And then this is going back on our smoker, still at 225 degrees. And I think the next step will take anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. We're looking for an internal temperature of about 200 degrees for this pork belly. All right, you guys, our pork belly has been on the smoker for about 3 hours since we wrapped it. I just checked the temperature. It was reading right around 200 to 202 degrees, depending on where I put my thermometer. That means it is time to come off the smoker. I've got a half foil pan that I'm gonna bring my pork belly over to just so that I can catch any juices that try to sneak out from that foil. It smells amazing. At this point, the pork belly is technically done. So you have a few options here. My favorite is to pull it out of the foil wrap, baste it with my favorite barbecue sauce, and then slice it up and serve it with toothpicks like a little party appetizer. If you are one that likes the pork belly burnt ends vibe, this is where you could chop it into cubes, toss it with barbecue sauce, butter, brown sugar, put it back on the smoker at 225 degrees for another 45 minutes to an hour and let it tighten up and give you those little, crispy nuggets. Or you could chill it down completely and do thin slices and fry them up in a pan. It makes an amazing BLT, this smoked pork belly situation. There are just a lot of ways to enjoy this. As for me, I'm going back on the smoker with a healthy slathering of barbecue sauce. All right, pop the lid closed on this bad boy. Let it go for just a few minutes. What we're really looking for is that sauce to kind of tighten on the outside a little bit. It could go for as little as 5 minutes or up to 15 to 20 minutes, just depending on how tight you want your sauce. Well, that's beautiful. Like I said, there are a million ways to serve this. But I'm gonna cut mine in half and give you a beautiful cross section of the smoked pork belly so you can see how the fat's rendered out. The meat has just become almost fall apart tender. And then I get to try some. Look how beautifully rendered out that fat is. Got a nice little pile of pork belly bites right here. Take this one right from the front. I think my favorite thing about this cross section is you really can see how well rendered the fat is between these layers of meat. You got that pink smoky smoke ring across the bottom. All this is just gonna melt my mouth when I try and bite it, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a risk I'm willing to take. That's perfect. I mean,
Whoa. That's a rare occurrence.
That's me patting myself on the back. Perfectly tender. The sweet rub and the everything sauce come together to give you a nice barbecue flavor that's traditional and complimentary, but you can still taste every unctuous moment of the pork belly itself. Absolutely delicious. I love this because of how versatile it is. We'll cube this one up, serve it as appetizers before dinner tonight, and then we'll save this guy, and tomorrow I'll slice it up and we'll either put it in some ramen or on some BLTs. I can't wait. I hope you guys give this one a try. It's so simple. I know you guys are gonna love it. It's a great same-day project. You can do start to finish in 8 hours. When you smoke this one at home, make sure you snap a photo, post it online, use the hashtag #HeyGrillHey. That way I can see it and cheer you on your journey to becoming a backyard barbecue hero. See you next time.